ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaskar, my dear friends. This is video number 9 on Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba's Divine Discourses, most suitable for sadhakas pursuing the sadhana of self-realization and liberation. Let your light shine. This is the age of science and technology. Its civilization and culture are bound up with knowledge of the physical universe. What the students have to learn today, however, are the culture of the soul, the broadening of the spirit and purification of the heart. This knowledge leads to the unfolding of the spirit and the sublimation of life. Along with the development of the intellect, the blossoming of the heart should also be promoted. Only that education is total and full which comprehends enlargement of Hridaya. The spiritual or loving spirit, it should serve to promote ethical values. Only then will it be possible to lead a well-regulated and disciplined life. The marks of true education are selflessness, humility, and unostentatiousness. The ethos of Bharat is based on righteousness and justice and an inherent goodness of character. The edifice of right education rests on four pillars: self-control, self-support, self-confidence, and self-sacrifice. Students today are totally oblivious to self-support. How then can they achieve self-control? Education should aim not merely at making men human, but should try to make them perfect human beings. We may not have all the physical means necessary to help to protect the country, but if we adhere to truth, that will confer on all of us the strength we need. If we stand by truth, we shall be saving the whole world. The six virtues students should cultivate. Students have to observe some do's and don'ts during the educational career. Foremost among these is the cultivation of good company. Samra Sajjana Samarkam. Welcome the company of the good. Then comes avoidance of association with bad persons. Tyaja Durjana Samar Samgam. Run away from evil company. By association with bad persons, even a good student turns bad. Kuru Punyam Ahora Tharam. Do meritorious deeds night and day. You must be engaged in sacred actions. You must participate in service activities, serving with patience and sympathy the sick and the destitute. You must always be prepared to render any kind of help that people in distress might need. Man is subject to the vagaries of the mind. Hence, students should try to cultivate the six virtues of Shama, Dama, Uparti, Titiksha, Shraddha, and Samadhana. Sama means control of the external senses. Dhamma means control of the internal senses, namely that external sense organs operate. The internal senses are not visible. They are like the steering wheel in a car. The wheels that are external cannot turn unless the steering wheel is turned. The mind is the steering wheel. It is only when the mind acts that external organs like hands and feet can function. Hence, students should try to control the mind using the intellect and the discriminating power of the chitta. Uparti is the process of turning the mind inward and purifying one's thoughts and feelings. By these means of self-control and self-regulation, one should try to get self-satisfaction. This comes when one lives up to the dictates of his conscience. Conscience. Make your conscience your master. Maintain equanimity in your entire life. Then comes titiksha, equal mindedness. In the face of happiness and sorrow, victory and defeat, loss or gain. You must cultivate this equanimity from your student day. You should not give way to depression owing to failure or get unduly elated over your success. Without equanimity, your entire life may be seriously affected by lack of balance. Shraddha, earnestness is essential for accomplishing even small things in life. Through Shraddha, you develop the capacity to make proper use of your time and opportunities. Maintaining a proper time schedule for all your daily activities will help you keep your heart in perfect condition. The schedule should be observed strictly. The decline in discipline everywhere which we witness today is due to the failure to observe the rules relating to time and place. Education today has taken the wrong road. There is no spirituality or excellence in it. The accent in all on getting some book knowledge by rote, scoring marks in the examinations and getting degrees to earn a living. Education should be for acquiring knowledge and not for earning a livelihood. The essence of true freedom. The aptitudes of students for specific subjects like mathematics or literature should be ascertained by teachers, and students should be encouraged to develop their special talents. Instead, what is being done today is to make students take up courses which will enable them to earn lucrative careers, jobs, and not a good life have become the aim of education. Education should comprehend development of body, the mind, and the spirit. It should be concerned with prajna, constant integrated awareness. There is a great deal of talk about freedom, largeness of heart, refinement of sensibilities, and purity of the mind constitute true freedom. Freedom does not mean living as you please. Self-control, self-satisfaction, and self-knowledge constitute together the supreme expression of freedom. Freedom today has been equated with license. This is a traversy of freedom. Every student must become a light unto himself and a light for his home, his city, and his nation. Unlike other educational institutions, the Sathya Sai Institute lays equal emphasis on scientific, economic, and spiritual education. You should pursue your studies having regard to the unique environment of training here. You have to adjust yourselves to the conditions here and make the best use of the facilities and opportunities provided for you. Develop fraternal feelings towards your fellow students. I only want men whose hearts speak for them. I have no use for works divorced from the heart. You must put into practice human values and prepare yourselves to play your role in any sphere of life in a spirit of universal love and compassion. Discourse while inaugurating the new academic year of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning as its Chancellor in the Institute Auditorium, 23rd June 1988. The divine aspect of your personality will encourage humility, truthfulness, love, fortitude, detachment, and eagerness to serve. Cherish the manifestations of these qualities in your life and practice these whenever you get a chance. The innate brotherhood that sacrifices the human race is destroyed by the weeds of envy that grow in the mind. These weeds ruin one's personality. Discourse number 16. True sacrifice. Students, embodiments of divine love. Life is fraught with vicissitudes, trials, and tribulations. The world looks attractive but is the abode of suffering. Life is like a water bubble on a lotus leaf. The lotus is born in water, grows in water, and depends on water for its existence. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Dharma. Being, awareness, eternal, the Omni Self. This is the lake of the eternal divine spirit. From this arises a lotus in a subtle form. Thoughts and feelings are the fragrance emanating from this lotus. Maya is the lotus leaf. Life is the water bubble on this leaf of Maya. The Atmic principle is the basis for everything in creation, its origin, growth, and dissolution. Considering the evanescent body as permanent and real and leading a life devoted to worldly and mundane pursuits, man is lost in delusions which cause sorrow and suffering. Ignorance of his true nature is the root cause of all sorrow. When this ignorance goes, there will be freedom from sorrow. Gita lays stress on inquiry into eternal. Man is compounded of two basic constituents, one which is permanent and the other which is transient. They are the Atma and the Anatma, the body and the indwelling spirit, the Akshetra field and the Akshetrajana, knower of the field. As one who is essentially divine, man's primary duty is to inquire into what is permanent and what is impermanent, what is real and what is unreal, discard what is false and adhere to what is true. This is the theme of the Gita in the cantos devoted to Akshetra, Akshetrajana, Vibhaga Yogam, and Gunatraya Vibhaga Yogam. The Gita lays stress on inquiry into the eternal and evanescent as a primary requisite for man. The aim of education should be to enable one to discover his own true nature. By concentrated effort and by sacrifice of every kind, different paths have been discovered for experiencing divinity. The Upanishads have declared not by rituals or progeny or wealth can immortality be attained. It can be got only through Tyaga, renunciation. What is it that has to be renounced? What is it that has to be sought? Men should be engaged in perpetual inquiry to find out from the myriad objects in the universe, from his varied experiences and his multifarious activities, the means of achieving Ananda bliss. Today, the world is plunged in chaos and conflict. What is the reason for this? All the joys and sorrows experienced by man stem from his actions. The actions themselves are the result of thoughts arising in the mind. It is only when the thoughts are good that the actions will be pure. When man's actions are pure, society will be healthy and peaceful. Lessons to be learned from nature. The secret of true renunciation has to be learned from the trees, the cows, and rivers. The trees bear fruit for the benefit of others. Rivers flow for the good of others. Cows give milk to nourish others. The human body is for rendering service. When trees, cows, and rivers are setting such an example in unselfish service to others, human life will have no meaning if it is not devoted to selfless service. When we start inquiring where is God, who is God, nature as the vesture of God provides the answers. It is well known that the earth spins around itself at the rate of 1000 miles an hour. It is ceaselessly doing its duty without rest. Because of this rotation, you have night and day. Moreover, the earth is going round the sun at the speed of 60,000 miles an hour. As a result, we have changes in seasons conducive to cultivation of crops. The earth, the sun, and the moon are providing a lesson to man regarding the fulfillment of one's duties. They are also demonstrating the importance of activity for mankind. All of them, trees, rivers, cows, and earth and sun, are acting unselfishly. At the same time, what they are doing is essential for man's existence. When these are rendering such selfless service, what kind of renunciation is man displaying? Man is enjoying the benefits provided by nature, but is showing no gratitude at all in return. Misconceived magnanimity. Despite all the progress in scientific knowledge, man has not learned the real purpose of education and has not developed the sense of gratitude. One without gratitude is worse than a wild beast. Doing good in return for good done is nothing to boast about. Real goodness consists in doing good even to one who has done you harm. But in applying this principle, discrimination should be used. History is full of examples of misconceived generosity and forgiveness. Muhammad Ghori invaded India several times and was defeated by Prithviraj, who let him go back as a sign of his spirit of magnanimity. Ultimately, Muhammad of Gauri conspired with Jason to take Prithviraj as a prisoner. Instead of showing gratitude to Prithviraj for his magnanimity, Gauri Muhammad gouged the eyes of Prithviraj. History teaches that no quarter should be given to wicked persons who are treacherous and ungrateful. In rendering service to needy people, students should remember these lessons from life and use their discrimination and intelligence. In the pursuit of education, students should take note of three things. One, you should not talk about matters of which you have no knowledge. It is a mark of foolishness. 2. It is dangerous to pretend that you know something when you are really ignorant. 3. You must strive to acquire knowledge and impart it to others only after you have mastered the subject. Today, many pretend to be well knowing. Today, many pretend to be all knowing. This is a sign of ahankara, egoistic conceit. Egoism can bring about the complete downfall of a person. It is like a pest that destroys the very root of a tree. It has two accomplices: attachment and hatred. The combination of these three is enough to ruin the life of any person. Hence, the primary need is to get rid of egoism, which is fostered by ignorance. Education can become meaningful only when you have developed humility and right behavior. Learn the value of leading a simple life. Today, much effort is wasted on ostentatious living. Students should learn the value of leading a simple and unostentatious life. You may be aware of Sardar Patel, who was Deputy Prime Minister in the government formed after independence. One day, a colleague of his, Mahavir Tyagi, went to Patel's residence. While talking to Patel, Tyagi noticed Patel's daughter, Maniben, doing the household chores. She was wearing an old sari, patched up in some places. Tyagi asked her, Maniben, you are getting a bad name for your father. What a high position he is holding in the government. He is the deputy prime minister of the country. Being his daughter, if you are like this, you will be taken for a beggar. The dress you are wearing is not befitting at all. Maniben was indignant and told Sri Tyagiji, it is only those who have earned money by foul and unjust means that should feel sorry for the clothes they wear. I am not ashamed to wear the clothes out of my own labors while I am carrying on my legitimate duties. Those who spend lavishly on their comforts by the money earned by their parents have to feel ashamed about themselves. I have nothing to be ashamed about. In looking after my aged father, I do my work wearing the clothes I choose. I do not hanker after anyone's wealth. I know how to maintain my dignity and self-respect. No one need teach me how to conduct myself. Moneyban left after saying these words. The dedicated life of Moneyban. Dr. Sushila Nair, who was seated on the same sofa as Sri Tyagi, told him in unmistakable language, Tyagiji, you do not know Moneyban well enough. From the time she wakes up in the morning right up to going to bed in the night. She is ceaselessly working without any rest. Although her father is the deputy prime minister, she attends to all the household work herself. She cleans the vessels and washes her father's clothes herself. She spins on the charkha whenever she has some spare time. She stitches the clothes for her father. She makes saris for herself out of discarded dhotis of her father. It is difficult to find anyone equal to her in the ideal life she is leading. Such was the dedicated life led by Moneyban in those days. It is hard to find today any young woman or man who can live life like that. Most young people lead ostentatious lives, wasting the hard earned money of their parents. Students realize what you owe to your parents and act in a manner which will not grieve them. Avoid waste of money, of food, of time and energy. Experience joy in the control of desires. Having come to the Sathya Sai Institute for your studies, you have to set an example to others. You have to get rid of all bad traits. This is the scientific and this is the sacrifice you have to make for acquiring good qualities. Real enjoyment does not consist in wearing expensive clothes and leading a luxurious life. You must experience joy in the control of your desires and in leading a tranquil life. Do not poison your minds by excessive desires. Buddha was once asked who is the richest man in the world. Buddha replied, he who has much satisfaction with what he has is the richest man. To the question, who is the poorest man? Buddha replied, he who has many desires. A Maharaja who was listening to Buddha's sermons on contentment and renunciation wished to earn the approbation of Buddha. Buddha used to keep with him always a rattle drum. His disciples one asked him, Master, why are you always keeping this rattle drum by your side? Buddha replied, I shall play on this drum the day a person who has made the greatest sacrifice approaches me. Everyone was eager to know who this person would be. Such persons are often the forgotten men of history. Wishing to attain this distinction, a Maharaja loaded his elephants with considerable treasure and went to Buddha. He hoped to offer the treasure to Buddha and earn his praise. Buddha shows what true sacrifice means. On the way, an old woman greeted the Maharaja and pleaded, I am hungry. Will you give me some food? The Maharaja took out a pomegranate fruit from his palanquin and gave it to the old woman. The old woman came to Buddha with the fruit. By then the Maharaja had also come to Buddha and was eagerly waiting to see when Buddha would sound the rattle drum. For a long time Buddha did not use it. The Maharaja stayed on. The old woman approached Buddha, staggering on her legs, and offered him the pomegranate fruit. Buddha took it immediately and sounded the little drum. The Maharaja asked Buddha, I offered so much wealth to you. You did not sound the drum, but you rattled it after receiving a small fruit. Is this a great sacrifice? Buddha replied, Maharaja, in sacrifice it is not quantity that counts, it is the quality of sacrifice that matters. It is naturally for a Maharaja to offer gold, but what great sacrifice is made when a hungry old woman offers the pomegranate fruit to the Guru despite her hunger. She did not care even for her life and gave the fruit. What greater sacrifice can there be? It is not sacrifice to offer what is superfluous for you. True sacrifice means giving up that which is most dear to you, that which you value most. Students, you must give up your selfishness and strive to please the Lord in whom you have faith by dedicating your lives to the service of the divine. The whole universe is permeated by the divine. He is omnipotent, omnipresent, and all knowing. Be conscious that He is not confined to any place. He is everywhere and in everything, including your body. He cannot be seen by dissecting the body, but when the mind is directed towards good, He can be experienced. The man who landed on the moon declared that they did not find God there. God cannot be found through yantras, machines. He can be experienced through mantras, sacred formula. Swami wants you to become ideal citizens. Students, this Sathya Sai Institute had been founded to train ideal students who would be able to change the world which is today plunged in chaos and corruption. Bharat, which was the fountain source of righteousness and spirituality, is today divorced from truth and right conduct and is plagued by evil forces. Swami does not seek anything from you except that you should develop into ideal citizens who will bring good name and fame to Bharat. This is the sole purpose for which Swami brought the institute into existence. All education is free here. You have all the facilities needed for your studies. You have to transform yourself and help to transform the country. In olden days, people regarded everything as given by God. They placed God first, the world next, and themselves last. Today, all this has been reversed. The I comes first, the world next, and God last. The Mahabharata shows what it means to place God in the forefront or otherwise. Both Arjuna and Duryodhana went to Krishna to seek his help in the impending war. Krishna said they could make the choice between himself and his army. Arjuna opted for Krishna and Duryodhana chose Krishna's army. In the ultimate outcome, the Pandavas who placed God in the forefront achieved victory, while the Kauravas who had faith only in the arms lost everything. Discourse at the Sri Sathya Sai Institute Hostel, Vidyagiri, 26 January 1988. So I end this video here. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment and share and subscribe the channel. Thanks a lot. Namaskar.